Regina King, you co-star in If Beale Street Could Talk as Sharon Rivers, who is trying to save her daughter's boyfriend after he's wrongly accused of a crime. Well, what were your thoughts about this script when you first read it, this Barry Jenkins screenplay?
Well, I thought it was beautiful, and I thought that that I needed to read the book so that I could be familiar with the with James Baldwin's version of If Beale Street Could Talk, and I was very pleased to see that Barry did a really true adaptation of the book. I didn't feel like the things that were not in the script, because whenever you're doing an adaptation, a book adaptation, you can't leave everything in it. And I didn't feel like I missed those things.
Well, what were your? Did you have a lot of familiarity with James Baldwin in general before this film came about, or have you developed an interest since?
Yeah, I mean, I think just over the past 4 years, there's just been this resurgence of people pulling up old interviews and tapping into old speeches and moments that have James Baldwin speaking with the passion in which he always has about being Black in America. And I think a lot of it is because of just where we are as a country still. So I was definitely seeing a lot of those posts. And I'd read his essays before. I was very much aware of who Baldwin was, but I had not read If Beale Street Could Talk.
And as you mentioned, this is a story about kind of a sad story and relevant story about racial injustice. But in some ways, it's also a hopeful story because of how much love and support there is for Sharon's daughter Tish and Fonnie, who's been wrongly accused. What was it like developing that kind of really loving family dynamic in the midst of this kind of the struggle that they're going through?
Right. Well, I mean, I think that the beauty of the cast that Barry chose, and Barry himself, we all come from very loving families, and we all have reached the places and of success that we've reached because of the love and support of our family. So since we all mirror that same foundation of love, that it was just like we were meant to be together as a family because we all knew that. So I guess to really answer your question as far as what did it mean for me, for us, was it meant that we had an opportunity to show the world how we love on each other, and how Black people, with all of the injustices and always feeling like our backs are up against the wall, we still find some way to laugh, to dance, even with all of that, and that we were able to display that with Barry at the lead. We felt lucky.
And it feels like it seems like such a tight knit cast in general, and you're developing that dynamic with your co-stars who play your family: Kiki Lane, Coleman Domingo, Teyona Paris. What was it like to develop that rapport with them, and what was shooting like with the entire cast?
It was great. I mean, while this is a film that's very emotional, we did have a lot of laughs while we were shooting. There's that one scene where you have all of the actors together where the two families kind of face off, if you will. One of the days that we were shooting was actually, Mike Beach's birthday. So it was, us singing and celebrating him in between takes. So we all signed up to do this because of the James Baldwin, Barry Jenkins union, if you will. So I think we just were just joyful about being together. We all respect each other's work. Kiki being her first project, she was able to be around actors that love what we do and really appreciate what we do as an art form. So I feel like she couldn't have been in a better space with better, she could not have had better examples for her first. Now, what other people do from there, you know, that's, we're not responsible. But we definitely surrounded her with love and support, just kind of like how the Rivers family surrounded Tish. So there was, I feel like there was a lot of um, synergy between the actors and the characters that we were playing.
And you mentioned the scene between Tish's family and Fonny's family. That seems like it. I mean, it was a very emotional, intense scene, but also there were moments of it that seemed like it would have been really just satisfying to shoot. What was that like? You know, balancing the kind of intense emotions of that with, you know, this kind of battle between those two families.
Well, I mean, while we were having fun, thankfully we all really liked each other because that was a long scene. It took 2 days to shoot that. And we were in an actual brownstone. So it's not like a set or that's built, because when a set is built, you can remove walls to get the cameras in and get certain shots. You can't do that when you're actually shooting at a practical place. So um, it's all of us there and also the entire crew. And if you think about it, I think there were 8 actors, and you've got to get coverage on every single actor. So it would. I'm just grateful that we all really liked each other, because it could have been a much different experience if just even one person was not there with their A game.
And you know, your character has a segment of the film where she's trying to find the woman who is accusing Fonny of assaulting her. And so you have these scenes in Puerto Rico where she and where Sharon eventually finds her. What was it like, you know, that segment of the film, you getting to explore Sharon on her own in that sense, and then that the confrontation scene that arises where she has to kind of try and talk this assault victim into maybe doing something that she doesn't want to do, or the complexity there.
Hmm. It was. I mean, what was it like? It was. I think what you see. It's uh, a moment where this woman who is, while she is the matriarch, she is someone that definitely leans on her husband, her family as well. And um, Coleman Domingo, who plays Joe, my husband, we kind of felt like Tish and Fonny were the younger us, and so our um, I think we were more impassioned to a couple that sees themselves in a young couple. I think is more impassioned to want to see that couple win, thrive. And then you have the extra added layer on it that they are actually our kids. So you want your kids to win regardless. So when you normally have your rock to lean on, and he normally leans on you when you're in this space where you don't have him to lean on, it could be terrifying. So that's kind of what's happening in those moments, part of what's happening in those moments.
And the film thus far has gotten a lot of support from critics. Your performance in particular has been awarded by multiple critics groups, nominated for a Golden Globe. Uh, how has that recognition been, and what's this award season been like so far that you've been on?
Well, so far so good. I mean, look, the movie. opens it's a small release in LA and New York this weekend, and then it widens out Christmas, and then it widens out even more at the beginning of January. So for me, I hope that the award season translates into people coming to see the movie, because we feel like we've really been blessed to be a part of something special. And the movie, when we watched it as an audience, we were touched and moved. So I really feel like this is a film that everyone should see, because there are some universal themes going on, and I feel like no matter what your background is, you can relate to uh, family support, the how love gets you through things, and having that love, how you survive um, uh, anything that is trial or tribulation. So um, I want it to translate into people coming to the box office. That's really more than anything what I think we want for this film. We want to feel people to feel that hug that we feel that we get when we read James Baldwin's words, or that we felt that we got when we saw Moonlight. Um, yeah, that's what I hope.
You've spent recent years, you've been better known for your work in TV. You've done American Crime, The Leftovers, 7 Seconds earlier this year. How does the opportunities, the style of storytelling differ for you as an actress? Like, what do you get out of it differently from like TV versus film? Is there a big difference between the kind of opportunities and experience?
Well, for me, it has been. I went back to TV because my son, was going into the sixth grade, and there was so much work, just like not in LA anymore, and I've made the decision not to take any jobs that were going to take me outside of the city, because I didn't want to miss any. I didn't want to miss any part of my son growing, and so that's how coming to TV started. But once I was there, all of the projects that were coming our way, when my reps and I were reading, everything that moved us, they were all TV projects. So it just kind of happened that way. I don't necessarily prefer one over the other. I just prefer being a part of a great story. That's why I'm an actor. I love the storytelling process, and I want to continue to be a part of that process. So it just so happened that Beale Street was the first film that came my way that made me go, I mean, you say James Baldwin and then you say Barry Jenkins at the helm. You're like, oh, okay. As soon as I saw that email, while I was directing an episode of This Is Us, and I walked out of the office and I called my agent and I was like, are you serious? So I ended up reading the script that night, even though I should have been, look, don't tell anybody. I should have been studying, doing my homework for This Is Us. I did do my homework, but stayed up probably later than I needed to because I couldn't wait to read the script.
Yeah, and you've been getting recognition for your TV work as well as your film work now. You won your third Emmy this year for 7 Seconds. What was that moment and that entire evening like?
It was great. It was great. I mean, I was there and not feeling any pressure, or because I was in a category with some really awesome actors and actresses, and I was just looking forward to wearing my pretty dress and going to some parties afterwards, and cornering a couple executives up in the party and getting the next thing going. So that was what was on my mind. I had my whole my business hat on, you know. So that just was like icing on the cake.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure it's much easier to corner when you have the Emmy in
The
hand because like
hardware, yeah.
it's pointy, and so it's like you could actually get
Yeah,
things
you can
done.
accidentally go, oh, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, Scott Rudin, how are you?
And as you mentioned, you directed This Is Us, and you've been directing a lot of TV in recent years. Also, Shameless, The Good Doctor, Insecure. Uh, are you interested ever in bringing that to the big screen?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, my sister is my business partner. We have a company together, and we're developing something now with hopes to be diving in and shoot and me having my theatrical film debut 2019. So fingers crossed.
And what being a director and also an actor, how does that affect how do you come away from something like Beale Street where you're working with someone like Barry Jenkins and get a lot of lessons or ideas or inspiration for your own work?
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like I get inspiration everywhere. You'd be surprised where artists get inspired or who inspires them or what inspires them. It could be anything from an article to, a plant. It's about remaining open so that you can receive the inspiration and not feel like it can only come um, from one space, or that you can only be in one setting, meaning like the school setting to receive a lesson. Every time I'm in Barry's presence, I feel like I've learned something or I've discovered something. And I can say that I try to surround myself with people that I am learning from or that do inspire me. I feel like it would be really boring to not to feel like you learned everything.
Well, congratulations on Beale Street. I've actually seen it twice, and I hope
Oh, have you?
everyone,
Oh,
yeah,
great.
and I hope everyone watching this and everyone who over the holiday season sees it twice as well.
Tell
Um,
all of your family members and all of your friends how much you loved it. I feel like that's the best way to look. What is this that came up here? Let me move that. There we go. Okay. Are you still there?
yeah,
Okay. That I feel the best advertisement is from people who've already seen a project. So if it moved you and it made you feel a certain way, I'm guessing it did because you said you saw it
yeah.
twice. Um, Tell a friend, tell them to bring a friend because I think that they'll leave feeling like you put them on to something. You left them with a little gift.
Yeah, I do think so, and I definitely will spread the word. And congratulations on that. And as the film opens, best of luck as the season progresses.
Thank you. And thank you to the Go Derby crew for always being so supportive.